Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So today what I want to do is take apart this electric fireplace. I found it on garbage day and unfortunately it doesn't work. The homeowner showed us it didn't work by actually cutting the brass prongs off of there. So this was put out there. But I do want to make sure that I caution before you scrap these and anything, the rule is make sure you check to see if it works. I have found several fireplaces like this or similarly like this, and all that was wrong with it was the light bulb was burnt out or there was a small squeak inside of it when the fire was rotating, so they're easy repairs. You are going to make a lot more money selling them in good workable condition or donating them, because people do often buy models like this and other things for their cottages or trailers or what have you. So this one I am going to take apart. But the beauty of these is you can bring them into the scrapyard whole. This is very heavy. This actually weighs 52 pounds as is. And you can get a appliance or electronic weight price for it at a scrapyard, which is about 6 cents a pound, which isn't bad. But you are going to make more money separating the material. There's a lot of tin inside and on the outside. There is some copper. There is definitely some other metals inside. So they are very easy also to take apart. So what I want to do today is show you how to take it apart, show you what's inside, and more importantly, how to identify and separate the material and maximize your profit and divert as much of this away from the landfill as possible. So here we go. The first thing, the person, when they set it out, did have it in pieces. So this does have the glass part removed. Sometimes you can actually sell parts like this online, and you definitely want to make sure you check this. Sometimes they are brass, but very easy to check. If I put a magnet to it, you can see the magnet does stick. Brass is non-magnetic. So this entire piece here is going to go into my tin pile. This actually weighs about 7 pounds as is. So a nice piece. You can see not very wide there, so it doesn't take up a lot of space in my truck when I bring it in. Easy to transport. And tin right now is going for 6 to 7 cents a pound right now in London, Ontario. It was in the summer about 11 cents a pound. So an excellent price now and a tremendous price then. So it does fluctuate, but again, 6 cents for this. I'm not going to complain. The glass, if there was glass to it, you can actually put that right into your recycling. The glass was actually smashed, so it didn't come with it. Inside here, there are a couple components. The only real garbage that I have here is this little decor. This little area, this is actually styrofoam, these pieces here, made to look like burning logs. These are going to go into garbage, depending on where you are. Some people, some facilities will take these and process them at recycling companies, even when they have the sticker on it. Here, unfortunately, we don't have the means to recycle it. But the nice thing about these is I can actually use these for some decor. Halloween is right around the corner. I could easily put these under a cauldron, make it look like a fire, or I could bring them into a school that I work at, and the JK classes could use these as well for their decorations. So hopefully these are going to stay out of the landfill for me. This is a piece of plastic, heavy plastic. There are a couple screws that I want to remove, but unfortunately I don't have any use for this. So this really is the only piece of garbage. Inside of here, you can see on the bottom, there are a couple light bulbs, and these would be actually your category of Christmas lights. Christmas lights are a separate category at some scrapyards, and in London, Ontario, they're going for 33 cents a pound with the bulb and the wire. I do actually have a separate video showing you how to easily upgrade and make it a higher value. In my opinion, these are definitely more money and better cutting them and separating the material. So I already have cut the wire here off of them. This wire right here is actually going to be in a category called 60% appliance wire. And for scrapping, you have two categories, 40% appliance wire and 60%. This, because it only has one layer of plastic and copper inside, there is more copper recovery here and a higher value. So this is going to go for $2.08 a pound right now. And it also has the cord that was left with it. Again, as I said, I've already cut one of the ends and the homeowner did cut the end. But even this, you can see that has two strands of copper, one layer of plastic. So higher copper recovery here. So all of this is going to be my 60% appliance wire. You definitely want to make sure that you separate this from your 40%. A good example of 40% would be your vacuum cleaner cords, your microwave cords. They all have a thick outer plastic coating, and inside there are 2 or 3 strands of copper wire that has an additional coating of plastic. So less copper there, more plastic. And even though those are still 40%, currently it's going for $1.20 a pound for those. So great price, but at 88 cents more for this, you want to make sure you separate it. And I always, as I go along, have 2 different categories, 2 different bins. I did make the mistake when I was beginning my scrapping. I had it all in one bag, and it took me several hours to take it apart. So make sure you separate it as you go along. Save yourself some hours. So again, some nice 60% wire there. I do also have right here, this shell, as you can see, is magnetic. There are a few screws that I have to take out. Here is the panel. You can see there's an on and on switch. There's a couple knobs here. So just going to quickly open this as best I can, as quick as I can. The screws on these, someone asked me about screws. What I do with my screws is I will just put them into a container or a jar, and when I go into the scrap yard, I will bring them in as tin shred. They are, if you wanted to get technical, some of them would be classified as steel. And the difference between tin shred and steel is the thickness of the metal. Some places do not refer to it as shred. The scrapyard I go to does. So again, it depends on where you are. But in order for it to be classified as steel, the metal has to be thicker than 1/4 inch. So you can see this panel here is not 1/4 inch. Any type of your outer frames like this, microwaves, dishwashers, appliances, they are all going to be tin or shred. So again, 6 cents a pound. I'm not going to complain, but I do want to make sure that I open this. Be careful of that mirror. Underneath here, there's always your different rotating, I always call it my rotisserie, if you will. But there is just a small band here that you see. It's just paper, but inside of here, put a magnet to it. This too is going to be steel. And again, some of these can be reused for parts. I did actually take one of these out of a fireplace, and I was able to just put it into another fireplace just because it had a small little bend in it, and it was squeaking when it was rotating. Easy fix, and I was able to sell that fireplace for a lot more than if I would have had scrap. Okay, underneath here you can see a little bit more wire. I'm just going to pull this, cut this out, get as much as I can. Okay, and I am going to open this obviously, but here again is more of your 60% wire. Okay, there really is nothing to this bottom shell. Going to just open it up on the back part. Make sure you get all your screws. And unfortunately, there we go. Unfortunately, I had this in my truck. I actually picked up at a construction site some more wire, and there was some sawdust in it. So this sawdust that you see on my workbench did not come from this fireplace. It was just inside of it from being in my truck. So again, nobody puts fire chips or wood chips in there because it is a fire hazard. Okay, so be careful of that, or like caution of that, because you will not find that in there. Here you go is some great components. There's a beautiful copper motor right there that I can see. The control panel, lots of different screws. So again, I'm going to get these screws out. And I know some people say, why don't you use a drill when you were taking out your screws? You know, definitely easier, quicker. But in my opinion, I find this therapeutic. Okay, easy to work on, especially now. The temperature, it's cooled down, which is great. I am not sweating in here anymore, so I can spend a lot of time in my garage. Again, as I said, for me, it's just Very relaxing, easy to do. And again, these screws going to go into a container. Very easy to build up weight for a container with screws as well. There we go, taking that off. Just going to move this panel. Okay, cutting it. Goes all the way through. So again, look at all that beautiful copper wire there that I have. Just going to open this to see. I do not have to remove this piece of plastic out of there, okay? The rest of this box, I'm actually just gonna bring it in as tin shred. And I do have a scale right here just to show you how much this weighs just by itself. Okay, so again, this is 36 pounds as is. Okay, and again, I do have to just, all I have to do is remove this light bulb here. These 3 light bulbs, put those into my garbage. The mirror here I am not removing, so that's great. But again, a nice box there. Easy to bring in. Okay, and I can obviously save a lot of time using that truck that I have. There is also right here a nice transformer. That transformer is going to have some copper in it as well. Okay, so that's definitely great. And I am going to show in a separate video how to open up little transformers like that. I do actually have another video on that, so I will just add the link at the bottom of the description. Again, nice transformer. And you will see, once I take it apart, there are 2 nice rings of copper. This is going to be number 2 copper. Doesn't matter how bright it is. Any type of transformer or motor, the wire, if it is thinner than 16 gauge, which is the thickness of the lead of a pencil, if it has glue on it or paint, these often have glue, so this is going to be number 2. Currently right now, number 2 copper is going for $3.50 a pound, so still a great price for copper. I just put it all into bags. It doesn't take a lot to add up weight. I just actually finished a bag of 40 pounds, so I just store it away and I will bring it all in at once. So again, doesn't matter how nice and clean it looks, it is all going to be number 2 copper. You do also want to make sure you scratch it. Unfortunately now I have seen a lot of different electronics and appliances. The manufacturers are making the wire look like copper, even bare bright copper, but once you scratch it, it reveals a metallic look underneath, and it is aluminum. So just to show you that, right here, I was fooled. Look at that beautiful piece. This is off of a microwave, nice little shiny piece, but once I scratched it, look at that. That is aluminum. So be careful of that now. You do want to make sure you check to see if it is copper. Okay, so word to the wise, double check. So here we go. Just gonna open up this panel here to try and get this plastic out. Find the screws. Okay, it's actually just attached to the back. So I'm gonna just put on a pair of safety glasses, get my hammer, and just gonna hit that out. So here we go. I'm gonna just hit that, pop that out. Okay, there we go. So just cut these little pieces. There are a couple pieces brass connectors here that I am going to pull out. As well, when you have an on and on switch, there is going to be a relay box. So just going to pop that out. Whoops, went over that side. But all it's going to look like is an on and on switch. Once I open it, any type of little thing that has a click, it has a little bit of copper inside. And as you can see, once I remove that, there will be a small little dot like that. That dot does have a little bit of copper or silver on it. I will actually cut that off and I will put it into my little silver container. These do have a little bit of copper. That copper I just put into a bag as well and put it in with my number 2. So it all definitely adds up. Okay, so you want to make sure you do that. It also has right here, you can see, if I cut this part out, there is a type of heater apparatus. These have apparatuses here. If I put a magnet to it, you can see there is my magnet, okay? It is all magnetic. So this is gonna just go into my steel pile as well. I have actually seen some of these, especially in your smaller portable heaters, they are aluminum. And what I will do with those is I will actually just separate them. I will bring them in as dirty aluminum. You know, they're definitely different than your copper aluminum radiators that you get out of dehumidifiers and air conditioners as well, because they actually do not have a lot of copper on them, and they won't be copper. These little ones will be aluminum, but there is like always a strand of glue or caulking that goes down the middle of it, so some type of material, so they will be dirty aluminum. But this one, as I said, because it is magnetic, this is going to be just tin. Again, my transformer I have, and this little motor, you can see, there's my cutter, there it is. There is a couple zip ties that I need to get here. Pull them out. Okay, pull this little guy out of here. Okay, there again, there's a nice little motor. I do want to scratch that once I get it out of there. Okay, and all I'm going to do to scratch this is very simple. I can just actually just take a screwdriver. I do have a file, but once I open it, I can see. If I scratch it and it is aluminum, I would definitely not even take the time to open it. I would just put it into my motor pile. But as you can see, hopefully that is scratched. That is copper. Again, it doesn't look like a lot, but it all adds up. Okay, so again, a little bit of your heavy plastic here. I did actually cut myself on the little piece of plastic. So you can see I should have actually wore gloves. That's what I've been hiding from the camera, or tried to, so fool on me, it does happen, be careful. And again, I know someone is gonna say you should be wearing gloves, and I should, so do not do what I do. Here is another, right here, another relay box. This came off of the back, the heating element. You can see right there, that dot at the top of that copper does have a little bit of silver on it. So again, here's another contact box. This one, you can see, does have some more wire to it, a little bit of brass, but there is your silver contact that I always talk about. And again, even these little pieces of copper do add up. Okay, and other than that, I have a lot more right here, 60% wire, nice stuff with that transformer. You can actually see with that transformer, right up to the camera, there is a nice spool of copper in it. The rest of this, as I put a magnet to this, it is also tin. So just out of this appliance or electronic, this fireplace, the only real garbage is going to be this plastic, that little piece of flame. I have some great 60% copper wire. I've got some great number 2 copper in here, tons of tin, some heating elements that this, as I said, is tin as well, some silver, okay, and another device or electronic diverted mainly away from the landfill. So hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was informative. Again, these are different than your small little portable heaters that you have. I will do an upcoming video on these. This is more of your larger style. And again, a great source of scrappable material. You will find them a lot, especially now that it is getting colder out. People are checking to see if they work. And if not, they are throwing them out. So glad that I could pick that up, divert a lot of this away from the landfill. Hope you found this video informative. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.